Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Candy Girl. I'm your host, Shelby.
And I'm your co-host, Emily.
Only two of the microphones are working in the radio room right now, so Emily and I are sharing one, so we're throwing it back and forth to each other.
Hey Shelby, what if we kissed while recording into the microphone for our Candy Girl podcast?
It is pretty intimate right now. Anyways, back to business. We have a special guest today. Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I will do so. My name is Ashley. I am a student at the University of Texas, and I recently did have an experience with a sugar daddy, and that was very strange for me. It was my first experience, and I'm going to talk about that today with y'all. I'm pretty excited about it. It's a good time. I like to make light of silly things that have happened to me, so I think it'll be fun.
I'm so excited to hear this story. We went to dinner all together at Raku Sushi. Tuesdays, they do ladies' nights, so if you're a lady and you like sushi.
And they put dry ice in their Cosmos on Tuesdays, so it looks so sick.
Yeah, so we highly recommend. But yeah, we've heard a little bit about Ashley's story, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. The unique thing about your sugar daddy is that you found him on Tinder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this past summer, I took a summer class, and I met a couple girls, and we were just, like, studying together, and, like, I had never really, like, even thought about having a sugar daddy or anything like that. I'd never really heard of anyone, like, talk about it or talk about their experience with one, except for one person I worked with at a part-time job who, like, kind of used secret arrangements, I think. Is that the website?
Seeking arrangement,
oh,
yeah.
Seeking arrangements. And so I was studying with this group of two other girls, and one of them just kind of like randomly started talking about her sugar daddy, and I was kind of like taken aback. And I was like, whoa, wait, please explain. And she kind of went into it and was like, oh, it's super easy. Like, yeah, my sugar daddy's paying for my tuition this semester. And like that was instantly something I was very interested in because summer classes at UT are crazy expensive, and I was dealing with that and paying everything myself, so that sounded very enticing. And so we kind of ditched our studies for the rest of the day, and we all downloaded Tinder, and like basically all you have to do really is change your age range from like 30 to however old you want.
You're
really.
willing to go.
Yeah, you're willing to go pretty much. So, I mean, I think I started around 27 to like 60 just for the fun of it, really. And then, like, we all just started swiping, and it was, like, really funny. And, like, we were just asking her so many questions. Me and my friend, who had never really experienced anything like that, were like, so, like, what do you guys do together? Like, how do you talk to him? Like, is it weird? Is it uncomfortable? It was so interesting to me. And so I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think much would come of it. I was kind of doing it just as a funny thing, just to laugh at, really. Like, kind of how you just go on Tinder to make fun of people sometimes, or, like, see people you know from high school, that kind of thing. And eventually, I mean, some people I swiped right on them just to see what they would say. This girl was kind of telling me what to say to them and kind of just be upfront, like, hey, I'm not trying to talk to you for real. Like, this is what I'm interested in, so let me know if that's something you would be down for. And so I said that, and a couple people were very taken aback and like, why the F would you, like, ask me that?
You can swear on this podcast.
Okay, good. Like, why the fuck would you even ask me that? Like, this one guy was, like, a dom, and he was very offended that I was, like, I'm a sugar baby. I don't know. He was just being really disrespectful and rude, and, like, that kind of made me not really into it for the rest of the day. And then, like, I came back and checked a couple days later, and, like, this one guy had, like, responded to my message where I was like, this is what I want. Like, this is what I'm looking for. And he was like, okay. And that was, like, so shocking to me. And so obviously I was skeptical at first. I'm kind of nervous, but I basically gave him my number. We started texting, and I was very like heavily relying on this girl who was basically giving me all the tips. We set up a meeting. I was so nervous, and I told a bunch of my friends where I was going, and like one of them even, it was like the Starbucks on 24th, and I was like, I'm gonna be here at this time. Please, if I don't text you within like 40 minutes, call the police. I was very scared, but and very nervous. But like after the meeting, like he was pretty chill, like very calm. yeah, it wasn't very terrifying at all, but I just felt it was like nerve-wracking because you kind of have to put on this persona of like, especially I like lied to him and told him I had been doing this for a while because that's what she recommended. She was like, don't act like this is the first time you're doing this because they're going to see right through it. So I kind of like made this fake story about how, yeah, I've done this before a couple times and like made up a couple of fake reasons why the past people didn't work out. And yeah, that's kind of how that worked out. And then after that, I mean, I came in with like a set budget that I wanted or allowance that I wanted. And we kind of like talked about that at our first meeting and what we both wanted out of the relationship. And then, yeah, we just started seeing each other after that. And it was very interesting. The way that the relationship like carried out over time was very interesting.
So I guess between that first meeting at Starbucks versus, I guess, the end of the relationship, how much did it change, like, versus what boundaries y'all set?
So it was very manipulative, which was something I couldn't really control because I didn't have much experience. But I also think that the person who introduced me to this was like had a situation that was very rare, I guess. She was getting $1,500 a week, her tuition paid, like gifts constantly. And so that's kind of like what I was going into expecting. And obviously that's not as realistic as most people would expect. And so I think I asked for $1,000 a week and, I did not end up getting that. But it's because I guess I didn't know what really he wanted from it based on that allowance. And so we figured out that we would do $250 a week and I would see him once a week. And then like texting and pictures and stuff and videos occasionally. And that was like enough for me because I was like, I don't want this to be like a full-time job. I already have a job. It's just kind of like a small thing. And like, I was attracted to him genuinely. Like he wasn't ugly and he wasn't old. He was 33.
What did he do?
He was a entrepreneur. So he lives in Hyde Park, has a 2-bedroom apartment to himself. 1 bedroom's his office. Like he's well off. He's basically self-employed and he has these ideas that are based in AI. So his idea that he was working on at the time that I saw him was to implement, one thing that was interesting was the parking lot near Smoothie King. He like came up with this idea to have like the cameras have AI in them so that they can track the cars that come into the parking lot, tag each one of them, and then count the amount of time that they've been there and then notify someone when they've been there over the amount of time that they're allowed to be.
So he's a snitch.
So he's a cop, basically.
Yeah, he's a cop. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So his idea that he was working on after that was to put AI in like Uber drivers and Lyft their cars and like have these AI systems like scan cars as they're like driving through parking lots or like just on the street and then like run the plates for like Amber Alert cars or like stolen vehicles. So basically he was just implementing the surveillance state, which I was not a fan of, but I was like, whatever, I don't really care. You're paying me. Any comments on that?
So all the surveillance stuff that he did,
that scared me.
I was gonna ask,
it had an effect on me, like some kind of like, it gave me a lot of paranoia because he did know, like I invited him over a couple times, which I was advised not to do, but I'm stupid and I was lazy and I didn't want to go out all the time. And so I was a little concerned about that, but really I usually have the benefit of the doubt with people and I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. If he ever tried to do anything with me or to me or come to my apartment and threaten me, I mean, I live in a college apartment. Like, it's not really that easy to do that to someone and, like, get into the building anyway. Like, my building has, like, locked access anyway. So, I don't know. Like, it kind of was still to this day, it's almost something that's, like, in the back of my mind. I keep my blinds closed now. I don't know. It's something that's kind of eating at me at the back of my mind, but it's not really something that has taken over my...
So I must know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have to ask, so what exactly happened? Like, how did the relationship end, and did did y'all have a bad falling out to where you would be worried about him possibly spying on you?
No. Well, okay, so we saw each other about once a week for about 2.5 months. And I got my payments every Friday through Cash App. And then one Friday, I didn't get it. And I was like, yo, what's up? And he kind of like was being really shady. And he like still wanted to see me the next day. And I was like, bro, like you didn't send the money. I'm not coming. Like
Exactly.
And-
Like it's transactional.
Yeah.
And so that's something he never really liked. And he was like, I don't want this to be transactional. He would say that. And I was like, okay, you're paying for sex. Like that, it's inherently transactional. Like I'm 20. I was 20 at the time, like before I even turned 21. And he kind of just really wanted me to be in love with him. And like, although he wasn't ugly and he was not boring, he had an interesting life and we had interesting conversations. I would talk about like my life. He would compliment me and be like, you're clearly so smart. You're going to go places in life. Like he was supportive in some ways, but I know deep down he hates women and he hates that he is not someone's ideal man. Like if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, misogyny is a big yikes.
Yeah, no, like, so things would happen, like, I would be like, I can't come over tonight, I'm really sorry. Can we do, like, Tuesday? Or, like I would even do, like, weekdays. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I felt bad. And he would be like, he would get very angry and be like, or no. One time I asked if we could raise the allowance. After, like, 2 months, I think I asked that. And he got very upset with me, and he was like, I don't like that you've asked me this. I don't remember exactly what he said. I've deleted the text since then because, like, I don't really care anymore. But he got very angry, and then he would, like, lash out at me and be like, just say really hurtful things that I know were completely opposite to what he really thought about me, because he would constantly text me and, like, wait till I get to the end of this story. It's ridiculous, but he would kind of just say things that a man would say to a woman that he's very angry with but really, really loves. Like, you know, like, where you lash out just saying the most irrational thing that you want to hurt that person so bad because, like, what they're doing is hurting you. And, like, that was just very obviously, like, coming from a point of insecurity. And it didn't affect me. Like, that's why it didn't affect me, because I was like, okay, you clearly don't mean these things. Like, you tell me I'm beautiful constantly. I really don't care. Like, I'm pretty much probably the only person you're having sex with. You're just mad. Sorry.
It sounds like the end of a high school relationship.
He was very immature emotionally, yeah. Just, I don't know. But yeah, basically when I remember this one time I was at his place and he told me, like, we were making out and we like stopped for a second and I was like, what? And he was like, I think I love you.
Ah!
And I was like, and he was like, I really like you. I might even love you. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really know what to say. And I was like, so what does that mean? And he was like, I don't think that we should do this anymore. Like, I don't want to pay you anymore. I want more than that. And I was like, okay. And, like, I couldn't bring myself to defend myself completely in front of him and be like, no way. Absolutely not. Like, I'm not doing this for free. Absolutely not. So in person, I was kind of like, okay, I mean, we can talk about that later. Like, I'll think about it over the weekend. Like, I kind of just said whatever, and I was like, I'm leaving as soon as I can because this is over. Like, this is over at this point. If he thinks that he can get away with, like, not paying me. And so I left, and he, like, kept texting me over the weekend, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not. If you can't afford this right now, we can do this later when you can afford it. But because originally, like, when we started talking and I talked to him about my allowance that I wanted, he was like, okay, I'm self-employed right now, but I've been looking for, like, jobs that are more stable, and I'd be willing to, like, get another job, basically. And I was like, okay, cool.
Damn.
Like, he was saying all these things that he was wanting to do, but at the same time, when it was really, like, time to be like, okay, well, what are we doing here? He really didn't, at the end of the day, didn't want to pay me. And that was a big issue, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I left and I was texting him. I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like if you can afford this later, like I'd be happy for you to reach out to me, but I'd prefer if you didn't contact me until then. Like I'm not going to do this. I'm sorry. And he responds, "Oh, I can afford it. You're just not worth it." So it's like things like this. Like, dude, yeah, I'm worth it, okay? Like, I know that 100%. Like, you don't have to. No, I'm not taking your opinion on this. You're just mad. So
I'm so glad we
hoes
don't
mad.
have to reinforce
Literally,
that. Like,
hoes are mad, okay? Like,
as Rihanna once said, "Bitch better have my money."
yes. And so that was like the ending point for me. And like, I blocked his number because I was like, this isn't going anywhere. But one funny thing I remembered about this was like he would just do the weirdest shit. Like he sent me a picture of him doing the splits in his whitey tighties.
Middle splits or side splits?
Middle splits.
Middle. Could
like,
wait?
like
Could he?
camera straight in front of him, and he's like leaning on his elbows with his like hands on his chin, like posing for the camera for the self timer.
Yeah. I've
splits.
seen anime bitches do that.
No, and he was like really into me because he was into like this weird Japanese martial art, and like I guess he thought we were like soulmates because of that, because I'm studying Japanese, and I was like, bro, I really could care. Oh, Aikido, that's what he did. It's like a Japanese martial art.
So could he actually do the full middle splits?
Mm-hmm. That is very impressive.
That is insanely impressive.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, I feel like we have to give credit where credit's due, but other than that, it sounds like... So I guess, was it pleasant in the beginning, and then after like 2.5, 3 months?
I think I was tricking myself into saying that it was pleasant. But the conversations were kind of rough. Like they got better towards the end, but he's a little bit socially awkward. I'm pretty outgoing. I feel like once I get to know someone, and like it was, so I can kind of like talk to someone about anything. So that was like, that made it easier, I guess. But like he didn't provide much, so it was kind of hard. Like every time it'd be like, okay, so how have you been? Like, how was your weekend? How's your project going? And it was kind of like him just talking about like his AI shit. And I mean, I can't understand that fully. So, and we would basically just like sit on his couch, and he would make me drinks, and I was like, so it was almost like I was like, whatever, I'm going over there, I'm gonna get like tipsy, and then I'm gonna have sex with him, and then I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna get paid for it. So it did feel like a chore, for the most part, which I didn't expect it not to, but after a while, yeah, it was just like I'm so tired of this being so wishy-washy and like going back and forth, and like knowing deep down he's probably not gonna pay me eventually, and I don't care, and like. So I blocked his number. He tried to reach out to me on Snapchat after that, and I was like, dude, no. Blocked him. And this was also like right around the time I started seeing the guy who's now my boyfriend. So I was really not interested. And my boyfriend knows about it all, and I was like, look, this guy's trying to contact me still. I just want you to know, like, I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. Not that I'm ashamed of it at all. A lot of my friends kind of like shamed me in the way that they were like, I'm scared for you, like, this is dangerous. And I'm like, okay.
Do you think they were scared for you just because you were a sugar baby, or because of the, like, sugar daddy that you had?
I mean, he was very non-threatening, so, like, probably the most non-threatening, except for the fact that he's, like, does martial arts, but, like, I have a very, like, acute sense of when I need to be scared, and I genuinely was never scared. I always knew I could leave whenever I wanted to. I never felt like constrained to be there. I never felt like he was gonna follow me. I never felt like he was gonna track me down. Like, I feel like I have a general common sense in that area. I think some of my friends were kind of just, it was out of left field for me, to be fair. So, it's not absurd.
Do you think that they just made a lot of assumptions? Do you think it would have been better if, you sat down and talked with them about it, or?
Yeah, I guess I just kind of felt uncomfortable talking about it with most people, considering, like, it never really seemed like something I would do. And I kept it from, like, my family and my sister, who I'm very close with, obviously. They would have a big issue with that, but, yeah, I don't know. I, like, talked to a couple of my friends about it, and, like, some of them were, like, supportive and, like, wanted to know about it, and then some were just like, I'm kind of scared for you. Please be careful. And I just felt like that was sort of condescending, and I was like, whatever. But most of those people I don't even talk to anymore anyway, so they're those kind of friends.
Fake friends. Anyways.
Yeah.
In there.
But after I blocked him, I forgot to tell you something.
Wait,
just remembered
obviously I want to hear it.
Okay, so the funniest thing that he did was when he was having these issues, he was very like nervous about the Cash App payments and like how that would reflect on him. And so he wanted me to fill out a 1099, which is an independent contractor tax form.
You wanted your taxes to get on.
I've been doing this podcast for a year and a half, and I have never heard anything like that. That is
Yeah.
absurd.
I was laughing my ass off. I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, you're absolutely out
Oh
of
my
your
god.
mind.
Wait, do you think he tried to file you as like a dependent or like
I have
something
no
he's paying in
idea.
his
And
like,
I'm kind of, that's
taxes?
also something that kind of gives me like some paranoia because he does seem like kind of a petty asshole who would do some shit like that.
It's
like,
tax season. I
bring-
hope the IRS doesn't come after
I know,
you.
like, you know that meme where like on Twitter people were like I'm gonna call the IRS on your whatever. They were doing that to sex workers, and so I mean, if he did, whatever, I'll deal with it, but I'm not gonna worry about it now.
Well, if he does, my mom's a CPA,
Okay, great.
so
Yeah, the other thing is like it's not like you were making a fuck ton of money from this guy. Like
Yeah.
you were getting paid $250 a week for 2 months. So it's not
Yeah.
like you were rolling in dough or anything
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Which was also why it was so insane because I was like, it's not like you're like blowing $2,000 a week on me. Like, dude, it's really not that serious. Like, no one, like, the IRS is not gonna look at your Cash App that intently. And he would be like, his payment would be like for medicine or like, school supplies or like some shit like that. Like very, very like vague things that could never really be. I mean, who knows? Some people could see that as suspect, but I don't know. Yeah, and then, so yeah, I blocked him, and then he would he kept like sending me, like, he sent me $40 on Cash App, and the comment was like, for a question, like he wanted me to unblock him and like text him, so he was sending me money, and then he sent me $20 the next week and was like, please talk to me, and then sent me like $1 a couple times, and I was like, I didn't feel like obligated to tell him I have a boyfriend now, and I don't really care to tell him. He doesn't deserve to know that, and so I just ignored it. And then last week I got a text from a random number saying, "Do you still SB?" And I said, "Who is this?" And he was like, "Just thought like after some time for both of us to cool off, like we could consider this again." I was like, dude, no. All I said was, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And then I blocked that number. But, like, did he get a new number?
Yeah, I was going to say that's
So he
really
could text
creepy.
me? Like, I don't know. Maybe he, like, used someone else's phone. Maybe he has some app where you can text from a different phone. I don't know. I didn't try to overthink it because I really don't care. And hopefully he'll give it up after a while. But
bro, I
yeah.
think, or actually not, I think. So this is the definition of harassment. We need to stop saying like, oh, it's just, him being obsessed with me, like,
Yeah.
all that. I feel like if men are doing those creepy things, like, you're probably not the first, and it looks like you're not going to be the last. If he reached out to you again, would you consider reporting it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, that just never came to my mind because I don't really know how he texted me.
It doesn't matter how,
Yeah.
like, I've thoroughly, like, Facebook stalked somebody, but that's, like, the actual, like, definition of stalking. If he's not letting you live your life anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the contract's over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he wanted to just ask if, like, I was still open to it, so I guess that's why I didn't consider it, like, super crazy, but if he goes out of his way again after I've blocked that number too, then yeah, I would be like, okay, this is not okay, I need to do something about this, but, I mean, it's kind of hard to, like, even understand what kind of services are even out there to, like, prevent that, or, I don't know.
Yeah, my freshman year of college, I took like a human sexuality class, and we talked about stalking. And this might have changed, and I might have it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that stalking isn't technically a crime in the state of Texas, so they can't actually arrest anybody for stalking, but you can make reports and keep documentation of every time somebody is stalking you or harassing you. And so that way later on, if they actually like attempt anything, you have all of this like
To back it up.
yeah, records and stuff to back it up, and then they can get in trouble for that. But I don't think like stalking itself is an actual crime.
No, but harassment definitely is.
Let's Google it. We can do that right now.
Let's use the internet.
Yeah.
Is this illegal? Wait, so a question that I have in the meantime, and just a reminder, this is my first interview, so not sure what's okay and not okay to ask. So Shelby said I could ask whatever. So what came to my mind is, so this man can do the middle splits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever do some like weird shit with that in bed?
He did not. His dick game was pretty average.
I was gonna ask, how's the
It was
dick?
kind of just typical. It wasn't crazy, but it was like not large. But like I figured that's why he like is 35 and paying for sex. Like that's not that old, right? Like that's really not that old. And like he's not.
And the way
he's
you're
not
making it
bad
sound like
looking.
he could have.
He's not bad looking. I think he just has a small dick. So, and I was like chilling there because I was like, I don't have to do much. Like I'm just sitting here.
Obviously, our listeners will have no idea what this is, but just tell me when to stop.
Right there, probably.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro, what?
Yeah, it was funny, but like it was very easy to deep throat, so you know.
If you have a small dick, I'm sorry. I do not mean to offend anybody in any way, but oh my god.
It was really entertaining actually. I mean, it was very easy. I was in and out in under like an hour, so with the drinks included.
Oh wait, so is stalking illegal? Oh, okay. So in Texas, specifically, the law defines stalking as when someone knowingly engages in behavior that someone else would find threatening, and it would cause a reasonable person to be afraid. You seem like a reasonable person who's, kind of afraid, so
Yeah.
if it happens
I'm not
again,
super afraid, but yeah, next time I'll be fucking afraid. So
yeah, and we can like cut the legal part off, but like real talk, like if you're ever afraid, please let us know. Like
I will.
we can definitely help you.
Aw,
Like,
thank you guys.
oh, don't put that in. But like seriously, like I just want to make sure you're okay if this guy reaches out to you again.
I'm totally okay. I know I have people around me who will protect me, and like worst case, I'll tell my dad and he'll fucking kill this guy. So
Yeah, if I told my dad like anything, like I could never unleash Mark on anybody.
mm-mm.
Yeah, it looks like stalking is treated as a third-degree felony, which means it's often punishable with a prison sentence. And if convicted of another charge of stalking, it's considered to be a second-degree felony. So
Cool.
I was wrong
Good
earlier.
to know.
So I guess I have a question. Do you guys think there's ever like situations where the guy thinks like the dick is so bomb that it's almost like the girl should be paying them for sex?
Amelia was in a situation. We did an episode like that. The sugar daddy that she actually fell in love with, who's also a sex addict, was not paying any of these girls like who was like his sugar babies. He was just like, oh, I'm trying to find the right sugar baby. So he was having sex with all of these different women, but like not paying any of them just because he was addicted to sex.
Ah!
Sex addicts are so interesting to me. But no, I don't think this guy was an addict. Nor was he probably even that confident in his dick game. I mean,
And his dick game wasn't even strong.
however, he did go down on me every time. Before I did anything.
What'd
so
that tongue do?
It was good. Like I'll give him that.
Ooh.
So like that was also something that like kind of
More important than the dick game
It was-
is what that tongue do.
Exactly. So it was almost like, okay, I'm gonna go over to his place, get free drinks, get eaten out, and then like do my thing and go home.
So you like had a routine. So honestly, that like sounds like a pretty good deal. Like go over, like get a little buzz, because I know I could never do that sober. It sounds like yeah. Just lean back, have him go down, and then zone the fuck out.
Yeah.
Make bank. That's
Honestly-
probably not the healthiest way to go about it, but in and out.
No, that's how I rationalized it in my head. And like honestly, I remember distinctly when I first was talking about this with the girl who introduced me to it. I was like, you have sex with them? And she was like, yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. And I was like, oh, I mean, I could never do that. And then like instantly I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I know there are some people who don't, but I mean, how long is that gonna last?
Yeah, those are usually like very few and far between.
Yeah. So I kind of reconciled the reality of it, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine with this. I mean, I've hoed out plenty, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, a job's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had plenty of lame sex for free
Exactly.
with
That's
stupid so
exactly.
honestly, yeah.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I had sex with like my ex-boyfriend for like 2 years and came like twice the whole time. So this is much better than that already, and I'm getting paid. So I see no issue with it, really.
Damn, and you're getting your pussy eating.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my friend's ex-boyfriends didn't eat pussy.
ugh,
And
disgusting.
It's so whack. I just feel the need to share it on this podcast.
Those people shouldn't have rights. I'm sorry.
True. Men shouldn't be allowed to date unless they eat pussy.
Yeah, but I guess, yeah, I don't know if I would ever do it again. It really depends on the person, though. Like, and also my boyfriend would never be okay with that.
Well,
which,
yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I mean, some people's boyfriends probably have no problem with
we've
it.
had girls on the show whose boyfriends are totally fine with them being sugar babies. But I also don't think it's unreasonable for somebody's boyfriend to not be okay with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I probably, and also I don't think I could emotionally spread myself that thin with like, and like it's not like I was that emotionally connected with this guy, but it is like emotionally tolling on you, and it's kind of like a second relationship.
Yeah, relationships are a full-time job, and you're already a student. You're hustling out here doing other shit, and like it went from like a side gig, and then it started taking up too much of your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he just wanted more from me for less, and I don't really. Yeah, like I have 2 jobs. I don't have time for a third one, really.
This man thought he had a punch card, and after he paid a certain amount of times, like, free pussy, like, the entitlement.
That's what I felt too when you were talking earlier about being on Tinder and how like a lot of people were offended when you told them that you were a sugar baby. It's like, why would this 20-year-old girl be swiping right on you, a 40-year-old man? Like, because she's attracted to you? Absolutely not. It's because you can probably afford to pay her bills and that's what she needs and she can have sex with you.
Exactly. That was like a big thing that was concerning to me, was like, one, the people who would get have a adverse reaction to it, and then 2, the fact that there are like 75-year-old men who have their age range set down to 20.
Ugh.
It's like, I mean, it works both ways, but like it's very concerning, like especially the people who are 75 getting pissed off that you're asking about if they're open to being a sugar daddy and have their age range set down to 20. Like, you really think a 20-year-old's gonna be attracted to your wrinkly ass?
You know, you don't have to pay me, just put me in the will and we'll call it a day. And I'm sure you'd cash out soon enough.
Probably.
Also, the thought of 75-year-olds with Tinder, like my mom doesn't even know how to open her Twitters, and she's 58, so I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Bro, he might not have swiped right on purpose. He might have just not known like what to do.
I asked my sugar daddy, I was like, just curious, like, because he admitted like he had never had a sugar baby before. And I was like, why was your age range set to 20? You're 35. And he was like, I don't know. I mean, I thought, like, I didn't know it had settings. I was like, bro, they physically make you, choose your settings when you create your account.
So
like,
one of my really good friends has his age range covering every age from 18 to 65. And I was trying to roast him about it in front of my mom. And my mom goes, he's just an equal opportunity, like, swiper. And I was like, Mom.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's pretty much all I can think about. The tax form was just the craziest thing to me.
Really? Yeah, I mean, do you have any more questions, Emily?
I have like one comment. So going back to like the Tinder age range thing, it just reminded me of this really weird like anecdote story that I don't know is relevant or not. So back when I was single, most of college, every year around the career fair or career expos for engineering, I would set my age range somewhere from like 27 to about like 50s, 60s, and I would purposely only swipe right on people who I could tell were from out of town, recruiters for companies, like they're in Expo, and I actually managed to get a recruiter at Apple to review my resume and like help me fix it up. And
wow.
yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
yeah, it really helped
it's a
me
tool
out.
for a lot more than you think it is. So
Yeah, I always tell my friends like, hey guys, it's recruiting season. Make sure you change your Tinder age preferences.
That's hilarious. That's super cool. I would never think to do that, but that's really interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm at Google now, so
Yeah,
She's so proud.
as she should be.
cut that out. Maybe.
All right, yeah. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. Ashley, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
I had a great time. Thank you guys for inviting me on.
Oh, yeah. Ashley reached out to us on Twitter, and you can too, at CandyGirlPod, or Instagram at CandyGirlPodcast. And we also have an email, candygirlpodcast@outlook.com. Yeah, you should follow us on social media. Reach out to us. We love to hear from you guys. Ashley is an example of that, and we got to learn so much. So really appreciate that. Bye.
Yeah, we're pretty fun to talk to, so you might as well just slide into the DMs. But the Candy Girl DMs, not our actual DMs, or we will screenshot it.